On, what'd I miss?
I don't think you missed anything, Mike.
There's our warning that we're being recorded.
Yeah. I don't care. I'm not going to say anything that I'll regret too much. Well, I think last week, there he is. Mike, did you get that logging program working?
The what?
The logging program you was having trouble with?
I figured it out. For some reason, I don't know, but I got it working. It was that log, and but now my colors are all correct. And I
Good.
don't have to keep calling a guy that I called
Yeah.
2 days before.
Yeah. So you're using the JT alert.
No, I'm not using that.
Oh, you're not?
I tried it once and I didn't really get it because I didn't read up on it.
Hey,
And
that is really useful because you can keep track of who you've worked and how many states you need if you're trying to work all states, or
Yeah.
if you're going for a DXCC, you can tell that. And I have mine set up so that, for instance, if I'm on 12 meters or something, I've got almost 100 countries on that, but I have it set up so that if a country pops up that I don't have, that particular block with this call sign in it will be yellow. So I know that I need to work that guy. And when you get close to 100 countries, a lot of call signs go by before you see one that you haven't worked. And if you didn't have that, you'd just be lost. So it's very useful.
It sounds like they muted their mic already.
Yep, they did.
Okay.
We finally got a hold of somebody.
Oh, good. I was just going to call Mark. I found his card.
I was wondering what that card was. I was thinking it might be something like that. So I use a logging program called Amateur Contact Log. And
yeah, I do too.
Okay, and so I log the program, the contacts that I log in WSJTX. I upload it to that contact log, and then I upload that to Logbook of the World.
Yep.
Then I download from Logbook of the World, and that marks the ones that I have QSL.
Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't WSJT automatically go to Logbook of the World? Yes.
Yeah.
Only if you set it up to.
Yeah, if you have it set up that way.
Check that box.
But then you don't have it in your contact.
Well,
amateur contact log.
It automatically goes to Logbook of the World in that, but I manually switch it over to ACL.
Okay. So if you upload to Logbook of the World first, you can use the amateur contact log and download it from Logbook of the World.
Yeah.
Put it in your logbook.
Yes.
So just however you know.
And I don't do it often enough. I should just do it every week, once a week.
I've been doing mine pretty often because I'm getting close to 100 contacts on a couple of bands, and I'm keeping my eyeball on it.
What is it? JT Alert? Is that what it's called?
JT Alert, yeah.
I probably have it on the computer.
Yeah, it may not be the latest version though. And WSJTX has changed a lot. So an old version of JT Alert may not work.
Yes, well, I downloaded the latest version of WSJTX.
Yeah.
And where the standard messages are, that's changed. It got rid of one of the tabs. So I had to kind of get used to that.
I guess it's been so long ago that I've forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah, 12 meters in the morning is really mostly South America, but a lot of France and Mostly France, a little bit of Germany, a little bit of England. But Ecuador and Chile and Brazil are like.
Okay. I worked Ireland this morning on 12 meters.
FT8?
Yeah, FT8. Let me bring up my login program.
What did I get? I got 3 new countries just last week.
Is that what you're doing, Mike? Is FT8?
Yes.
Okay, I got Bolivia today and PJ2, Curacao, and Honduras, and Dominican Republic, Bosnia, and Ireland, and I worked Gibraltar, Rock of Gibraltar, but that guy did not QSL, so I don't. And it says that he's on Logbook of the World, but maybe he'll get it later. I'm getting really close on 100 countries on. I've got 88 countries on 12.
Wow. You spent a lot of time on that.
I've been off of HF for years, and I'm just now getting back on. I've been doing moon bounce and 630 meters for probably the past 10 or more years. So I haven't made a lot of HF contacts. But I only need 5 more on 40 meters to have 100. Well, if I get these 3 bands, I've got 12, 30, and 40. If I get these 3 bands, I'll have 8 band worked off, 8 band DXCC, 100 countries on 8 bands. And I've got worked all states on 10 bands right now.
10 bands. Oh, 10 bands.
10 bands. 160 through 6.
Wow. All right, where can I find JT Alert?
At the Google.
Download it from
Look at there. Mike got a picture frame around him. That's a perfect picture, Mike. That is cool.
Just playing around a little.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't find anything too out of this world.
That's one of those old time photos.
Yeah, I ran across one of those with me today. I was going through my storage unit.
Shark.
That's pretty good, Mike. That's even better.
There's one for Easter.
Getting ready for Easter. Well, I'm glad you got that logging program working, Mike.
Thanks.
That'll save you some time.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to mention, Bill, the Logbook of the World and this amateur contact log. If you'll get both of those to start with, it'll make your life much easier for keeping track of your log. Because here I am getting into this logging program after I've got almost 17,000 contacts. And it's a little messy to try to rearrange things now. So if you start out with it, you'll be in good shape.
Yeah. If I ever get on the air.
You'll get there.
So far, the only thing I've been able to get on is Zoom.
Yeah. I don't think ARRL counts that.
Oh, they should. I mean, we have a lot of fun on Zoom. Zoom's pretty good, pretty cool.
I don't guess you got anything done on your antenna.
Well, I've been scratching my head. I've got oh, it's a long, sad story, but basically I was working on setting up the very top section, which has the rotor plate, the rotor in it, or rotator rather.
Yeah.
And then I had to get a new section of mast because that problem I said that it wasn't an 1 5/8 like it. It was undersized.
Plus it was welded in there crooked.
Yeah. Well, when I stuck that new mast down in there, I thought there'd be enough play or clearance between the mast and the pipe that's in there that there wouldn't be any problem. But I tried to put it down and put it into the rotor with the rotor clamp centered up. Wouldn't go. I would have had to push the rotor clamp, off to the side, which would bind the rotor. If you turned it 180 degrees, it'd bind the rotor up.
Yeah.
Or the rotator rather. So that wasn't going to work. So I got to looking more closely at the upper section, and one of the tubes that go up to and support that bushing or whatever you want to call it had a dent in it.
And I remember you said that.
And the dent, I think it got hit by a fork truck. It wasn't a very big dent, but I think it was enough to turn that bushing enough that by the time you get down a couple of feet, that pipe may be a few degrees off at the top, but by the time you get down 2.5 or 3 feet,
that could have been it.
So anyway, I've got a new section of upper tower coming that should be here maybe tomorrow.
Good.
Out of pocket.
Yeah.
Because as the distributor that sold it to me said, when you signed for it, it was yours.
Well, that's nice to know.
Are you going to spec this new one out before you sign for it?
Well, the problem is it comes motor freight, and to have motor freight delivered to your house is kind of a problem. So I have it delivered to my nephew's, well, it was my brother's business, and my nephew's now running it. And I asked him, I talked to him today, and I said, when that comes in, I don't know when to be there, unless I just go down there and spend the whole day, which I don't want to do. But I asked him to really look it over closely for any damage.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you would have seen that anyway, because they had it all wrapped in shrink wrap.
Yeah.
And that upper section was actually inside of one of the lower sections, which is, would fit up in there and make a smaller package to ship, but it didn't protect it somehow. But
man, you've been having some bad luck, Bill.
Yeah, I have. And then to top it off, that new section of mast that he sent me won't fit the beam, won't fit the hex beam.
Too big?
The hex beam is too big to go inside the tube. To go inside the mast tube. The old mast tube I had, it would fit perfectly. It was sized to fit. It's 1 3/8 or 1 3/75.
I wonder if this new piece of tower that you're getting, I wonder if your original mast will fit in it.
I doubt it. From what the guy said, I talked to the engineer there a couple of times at Universal Towers, and he said that, they can't keep them in perfect alignment because they jig it up and then weld on it, things move around, and
I guess that's another reason to have a top section, a flat top piece, and a bearing up there.
You got it.
Even though it costs more money, it probably, for what you're having to spend, it might have been cheaper to do that. But I don't know if they make a flat top.
I don't know that they make it
for that tower.
A flat top in this particular tower or not. This is actually one of their smaller, lighter weight towers. And I don't know that they make one with a flat plate in it.
Yeah.
Top plate, but I agree that that's definitely the way to go. That would have solved all kinds of different problems because, you know, you can probably you can get a bearing of whatever size you need. And some of those bearings have adjustable clamps in them anyway, so they'll fit whatever size tubing you want to put in there.
Yep,
You just tighten down on the 3 clamps, and
that's right. That's the way mine is on both of my towers.
so that would have certainly simplified things
Mhm.
greatly. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I was out in the shop this afternoon, you know, looking at it, measuring, and then trying to figure out what kind of an adapter I'm gonna need
Yeah,
to make that work, but I haven't come up with a solution yet.
this Rome 45 tower that I've got is it's not a Rome 45, but it's the same as, but it's a commercial tower, and the flat top section in it, I got it all together and up in the air, and I took that great big old top bearing up there, and holes didn't line up.
Oh,
So I marked them, and I got up there with a air drill and drilled them in that. And that plate is a 1/2 inch thick,
oh
and
God.
that's tough stuff. And that's the only drill I had that would get the job done. And that air drill worked it over, man. That thing worked good.
You must have a pretty good sized air drill.
No, it was probably average, medium. But I'm up on top of that tower with the air drill. My neighbors probably thought I was, well, they knew I'm nuts, but that probably confirmed it.
Well, I don't know. That's why I want to assemble it all on the ground, put it together, make sure everything is working, and then I can crank it up.
Yeah.
I did crank up to the 30, got the winch and everything on and cranked up the 30-foot
Mhm.
section of it. I think maybe I told you that last week. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
And even 30-foot looks pretty tall, but
Yeah.
plus that hex beam sticks up an additional 3 foot 9 inches
Hmm.
above the very top of the mast.
I think that guy that I worked in Sweden yesterday was using a hex beam. I looked him up on QRZ, and it had a picture of a hex beam.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't, if you see them, you can't miss them.
Yeah.
They're very unique looking. I hope it works as good as everybody says it does.
They work good. You get a lot of bands on one piece of coax.
Yep. And it supposedly has a little over like 5.5 dB gain.
Yeah, that's right.
It's essentially a 2-element Yagi on all those bands
Hmm.
with no, no coils or anything in
Yeah,
there.
no loading coils.
Right, loading coils.
Add loss.
Each element is an individual element, and each reflector is an individual piece too. I don't know exactly how they keep them from interacting with one another, but somehow they've got it figured out.
They probably do interact, but they trim each element to get the low SWR, even though it interacts a little bit. Probably not.
And you can go in and trim them yourself too if you want to,
Yeah.
if you need to.
You're going to need an antenna analyzer too, aren't you?
Well, I bought one of the little
VNR,
yeah,
Vector Network Analyzer.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've been playing around with a 2.4 gigahertz antenna that I've got laying up here on the shelf, learning to use the network analyzer.
Yeah, I'm not sure a 2.4 gigahertz antenna is the antenna that would be best to learn on.
It was just something that would easily attach and is reasonably small. didn't really have anything else that would,
Are you using it with a computer?
yeah, it's, well, I've run it both ways, actually. I do have the program that you were talking about,
Yeah.
free VNR.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I can't see that little bitty screen on mine, so I use the laptop.
Well, I got the one with the big screen. I got the one with the 4-inch screen or the 4.5-inch screen.
That still wouldn't be big enough for me. My laptop screens is okay, but
All right, Ken. I've got JT alert running. I got all the boxes that show up in the band activity. Some are gray, some are solid green.
okay.
I'm going to pretend you're a manual and read you. So what does that mean? Those green ones, and then all of the CQs on the WSJTX, they turned green.
Yeah.
Just the CQ and the call sign.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing on the JT alert.
Right.
The green, the ones that's called CQ has got a green border around them.
Right. Okay. What if they're solid green? That means I can answer them.
Solid green on the JT alert or on WSJTX?
JT alert.
Well, they're calling CQ.
Okay.
Well, I think maybe,
And what are the other ones?
I think if it's a green border around it, they're calling CQ, but you've worked them before.
Okay.
Solid green, you haven't worked them. I don't remember all that stuff, but I know on mine, I didn't change the color scheme from default. And on mine, if it's in yellow, I need to work it. If it's in green, they're calling CQ.
All right. Yeah, I'll take some time tomorrow and read the
Yeah,
directions.
that's a pitch, isn't it?
Eh,
It's a pitch when you have to pay attention.
I know.
I hate that.
I know, but hey, it's another new toy. Yay.
Oh, it is, and it's definitely worth it. And you could go into settings on that JT Alert program, and you can set up in there the stations that you've worked, and that way, if you set up the ones that you've worked, say for instance on, I guess on states or DXCC, either one, then the ones that you've worked won't show up as yellow, so you won't have to work them again.
Well, what if I say I want to wait for you to show up on there? Where would I put you in the settings? Wanted call sign?
Say that again.
If I wanted to work you and not knowing when you're going to be on, and I could put you in here, and when you showed up, it would.
Yeah, there is a way to do that, but I've never done that. But
I'll learn it. I'll learn it and teach you next week.
All right.
Good.
I never have needed to do that, but you also, the thing's got an audio where if a country or a state pops up, a voice will come out and tell you. That way you can be in the other room and it say Alaska is on 12 meters.
Is it a lady's voice?
You can get a lady's voice.
Oh, very good. Okay, well, this will be fun to work tomorrow. We've got 90% chance of snow, so I'll probably be down here.
Yeah.
Good part of the day. Oh, temperature went down. I've got to adjust.
And Mike,
Yes.
we still have a little snow left around here from whenever it was, it fell. Friday.
Yeah, I got some pictures from my neighbor, my ex-neighbor, former neighbor, and my daughter. She still lives in close to downtown.
Yeah,
We got-
What's that?
it's still hanging around in the shady spots.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got
it's
about
always-
6 inches over here.
It's always fun when you guys get some ice and then get snow on top of it.
Actually, I think it was just, really, there wasn't that much ice, at least in my neighborhood. The first amount of precip that fell actually froze in my rain gauge, but it didn't freeze on the ground. And then snow came the next day or night or something like that. And we got a total of, we got 5 inches that day and then another inch the third day. So all in all, we got almost a half inch of water.
How did you tell how much snow you had? Mine was 4 feet tall up against the house and grass showing 3 feet away from there.
I'm an official Cocoa Rise reporter, and I know how to measure snow.
Well, me too, but I've never figured out how to measure snow that blows like that does.
I really just measured what was actually in my gauge and then went around in the yard and took averages.
I just thawed mine and just recorded the moisture that came off of it. But
What's
I don't know.
amazing-
It was so blowing. It was just hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to measure, and you kind of wonder. I had a full gauge of snow, but when it melted down, there was hardly anything. When you have blowing snow, how do you know how much mist that's getting in that gauge?
Well, your gauge is supposed to be out away from any obstruction, at least
It
25.
is, Mike, but if that snow is going sideways, it's not going into it.
Well, I guess it has to fall from up above and land in there somehow. Mine was about 8 inches on one side and 3 inches on the other. So I just took the whole thing and shook it and then measured it. Made it level. I got one of those big 4-inch, well, it's maybe only 3 inches, maybe 3.5 inch diameter gauges that has a small tube that goes down the center, and you take that tube out in wintertime because it's only an inch in diameter.
Yeah, it's a 4-inch. I just bought a second one so I can rotate them and take it in and thaw one while the other one's, if it's snowing, I can pull the one in and thaw.
You know what I've discovered, Sam?
Sorry?
I've discovered that if you have 6 rain gauges, they all read different.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons they like Cocoa Rise, because the rain varies very much across the very short span sometimes. But yeah, I've got about 5 years. I haven't missed a measurement now. So
Wow.
Did you get a certificate last January?
yeah, I get one every year. I've got several in a folder. But, I say I've got a neighbor that comes over and reads it when I'm out of town, or actually she usually just texts me and says 0, because we don't get that much at work.
Yeah.
So I just heard something really astounding a minute ago. I heard somebody, it sounded like Ken, say that he'd never done something. I have no idea what you were talking about, but I just found it really hard to believe that Ken hasn't done everything.
That was setting up a logging program so that if a particular call sign pops up, it would alert me. I've never done that, but Mike's gonna teach me how to do it.
That sounds really handy. What program would you set that up in? What are you talking about?
I guess Mike's not hearing you. It's in the JT Alert program.
Okay.
Oh, are you talking to me? All right.
I see 2 mics.
Yeah.
Are you using JT Alert, Sam?
Yes. Yeah. I really don't utilize it toward anything it can do. So.
Well, I've got my logging part set up so that it will notify me by the call sign pops up that I need a country or a state pops up that I need, it will be in yellow. And that's the only alert that I have it set up to do.
Well, I've done the zone thing,
Yeah.
where but I've never, didn't know you could do a call sign. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's what he was talking about. I've not done that either. I don't know that I need to.
Yeah, they got want grids, prefixes, call signs.
But I know this,
I'm being harassed here. Say hi.
Hey, guys.
I
You
don't know who
recognize that
is,
voice?
but hello.
Oh, it's
Now we got 2 Kens and 2 mics.
oh, good, they muted it. Oh,
Hello, Ken.
You had me muted.
Hey, did you get that loading coil going, Ken?
The who?
Did you get the loading coil fixed?
I haven't done that yet. I've been working on my little tier project.
Well, you know, I came out with a number that time.
I
that
think
was
it's really
just
pretty
kidding.
close.
That's pretty close. I wanted to mention that to you. It wasn't something that I just grabbed out of the air.
Uh-oh.
There's no antenna hooked up to the back.
It's easier to take turns off than it is to put them on. Yeah, you're muted, Ken.
I got looking around and I thought that number actually probably would have been pretty darn close.
Yeah,
17,
well-
18 turns or 20.
Yeah.
But I've been playing with a different idea.
Well, I assume that was for your field day 20 meter antenna.
Well, it's for one of my little Shakespeare poles,
Okay.
the 20 footers.
Yeah.
And it makes a good 20 meter as is.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to make it, I'd put a base loaded coil in there that I can short out for 20, open it up for
Yep.
40,
You can do
and then
that.
do the same thing on the raised counterpoise.
Yep.
Put a trap in it and then short the trap.
Yeah. You know, whenever you was talking about moving the ends down on your counterpoise to
Mhm.
tune it, you know, AM broadcast stations, that's the way they tune their antenna, just by tuning the radials.
Really, that was very smart of them.
Yeah.
I was surprised when it happened. When I dropped it, I'd never paid any attention to it previously. And I guess I was just lucky because I was coming out with very acceptable results.
Mm-hmm.
But I accidentally dropped it that one time and it dropped me from 14 something down into 13.5
Yeah.
just by laying it down on the ground. And I thought subsequently, maybe if I just go up and down a little bit, sure enough, that worked good.
Yeah.
Nice way to fine tune it.
Yes, it is. That's the way the AM broadcast stations tune theirs. They have to stay on frequency. FCC has a tolerance on them,
Mhm.
and they have to keep that thing on frequency. And anyway, you know, if you're running 50 kW, you want your SWR to be pretty flat.
Yeah, I imagine. I will imagine. But anyway, so what I'm actually getting ready to do with that antenna is with that pole, I'm going to put a 4 or 5 wire fan vertical like the large PX Commander.
That's a
build
good
it up
idea.
and just play with, because that'll give me 20 or even 30 down.
Hmm.
I really think I can put 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, and 30 on that thing.
Well,
It fits
I don't
in.
know. I have a unipole. I don't know if you have ever looked at my website and looked at that unipole. It's an 80 meter unipole, and I use it on all bands from 80 meters up to 10 meters, except for 20. SWR is a little high on 20, but I can use it on all bands, and I've been using it lately on 12 meters and working Europe and all over the place. with,
You have different taps on the coil or,
no, there's no taps on the coil. I don't have to go outside. It works on all those bands. All I have to do is change the band switch on my K3, and it remembers the auto tune for each band.
Okay.
So once I go through and do an auto tune on each band, I can just switch from any band from 80 to 12 meters except for 20 and stay on that same antenna.
what's the K3? Is that a antenna tuner or?
It's a Elecraft K3 transceiver.
Oh, okay. And so it's got enough of a tuner in it that it can handle it.
Yeah, but the highest SWR on there on any of those bands is less than 2 to 1.
Really?
Yeah.
You invented something new.
Well, that's what AM broadcast transmitters, they used that antenna back in the 50s. Of course, theirs was for a little bit lower frequency than this.
And the other one I want to try is a three vertical array.
Yes, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And on what band?
Well, I'm hoping we get a buy up here to buy another Commander 32-foot pole,
Mhm.
and it would be a 40 probably.
40
Yeah.
meter, 40 meter vertically polarized beam will really work good.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I need one more pole to do it, although I could probably put my military pole up close enough
Yeah.
to make that work, but it'd be easier with another Commander pole, and I think I'll get 2 more. But I'm also thinking about trying it on 20. That would be an easier, smaller scale project.
Yeah. But 40 meter DX, a vertical polarized antenna, works better than a horizontally polarized antenna because you get the low angle of radiation with a vertical antenna. And that's what you want for DX.
Anyway, it's on my list.
Plenty of things to do in this ham world.
I know.
Yep.
And I still want to put that little Yagi up and see if I can point it at you and get connected.
Whenever you're ready, let me know. We'll do a digital mode 2-way contact on 432. I'm pretty sure we can do it. I can run as much as 120 watts or so on 432.
Well, I think I've got 70 or 75 watts. Pretty sure 75. Anyway, I've been fiddling with a little Arduino Nano keyer project, and I finally got it with externally adjustable speed, side tone, and got it running in proper iambic mode. So that was
Good.
fun.
So it's a keyer?
Yeah, it is. Or a practice oscillator.
Yeah.
As it sits right now, it's a practice oscillator. All I got to do is add an opto isolator output off one of the pins, and
Mhm.
it's a keyer.
Yeah, that's cool.
Real high dollar. I got $8 or $9 in it.
Wow. That's unbelievable amount of electronics for that price.
It is. I picked up ordered a 3-watt amp, basically HF up to 400 megahertz with $11.
Wow. Yeah. It probably doesn't have a low pass filter on the output.
It won't have it. It won't have that. I'll have to put the appropriate low pass filter on it.
Yeah. If you don't put a low pass filter on there, Ken, we'll call you a CBer.
Oh, no, not that.
Yeah, except they're running 1,000 watts with
Yeah.
no low pass filter,
Yeah,
or 2,000 watts.
yeah.
I can.
Which
I-
one?
You, I saw a Facebook post today, a guy looking to make a 1.25 centimeter, or not, yeah, is it centimeters? 220 megahertz
Yeah.
contact.
Hmm.
Do you run anything for
Oh,
around
nope.
220?
I don't have anything on 220,
Oh, well,
mainly because nobody else does either.
if you get an email from him, I suggested, I just messaged him and suggested
okay.
you might.
That's all right. Yeah. Although Elecraft makes a transverter for 220.
Yeah,
I got the transverters for 2 meters and 440. They make one for 220 megahertz, but I've never been interested in that.
he didn't give a call sign on Facebook, but I don't know if he's a new ham
Yeah.
with new equipment or if he's an old ham with new equipment, or, just wondering what 220 was all about. I've never talked on it. I know,
Well, the
couple
antennas
guys-
are pretty small, so that's one advantage.
yeah. But so is the distance you can talk.
But it's probably about like 70 centimeters. It's line of sight.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of guys on 1296 moon bounce, and they seem to do really good on that. But a lot of them are using parabolic reflectors, big dish. They don't need much power if you got a big dish.
there used to be a few of those sitting around in people's yards,
I know it.
10-footers.
Yeah. I had one spotted out here. I was gonna stop by and ask them if they wanted to get rid of it,
Yeah.
and it disappeared before I got around to it.
Oh, that's too bad. Probably went to the junkyard.
Probably.
They scrapped it. Now, those fiberglass dishes, do they have metal inside of them?
Yeah, but the mash dish would be better. The wire mash
Yeah,
would be better for us in Oklahoma because it
wind.
won't have as much wind resistance.
Yeah.
One of them big fiberglass dishes pointing into the wind man, that sucker would catch a lot of wind.
Yeah, you'd have to rest it almost in a straight up position so it wouldn't blow over
Yeah.
in the night.
You have to have it automatic, turn against the wind, turn it
Yeah,
back to the wind whenever wind got above 30 mile an hour or something. Have it rotate automatically.
yeah.
That could
Have
be
you-
done.
Have you seen those? I call them giant flowers for collecting sunlight. Solar
yeah.
panels. It's
Mhm.
it folds down to this position and kind of just hangs, and then at night, and then in the morning, it unfolds its petals in a circular motion, and then points at the sun, follows it across the
Yeah.
sky. You seen those?
No, I haven't seen them, no.
They're not too popular in America, but I've heard that the Europeans are using them, especially big cities.
But there is a lot of solar collectors set up for tracking, to track the sun.
Yeah. Keep seeing ads for convert your house and don't pay another electric bill and this kind of thing. I don't know if I really want to go solar and get off the grid as far as being able to not have an electric bill. That'd be nice, but
Yeah.
I don't know how fast it pays for itself.
Let's put it this way, Mike. We wouldn't live long enough to get our money back on it.
Yeah, my nephew, or my cousin bought one up in Massachusetts. They don't get that much sun up there.
Yeah.
But he keeps hollering about how nice it is not to have an electric bill. So
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, a ham friend here in Shawnee, he put about 30 grand into solar collectors on his house,
yeah,
and he produces enough that he sells a little bit back to the electric company. So he don't have hardly any electric bill, but
yeah.
that thing would not pay for itself in 30 years. So I don't see
Yeah.
an advantage. I've got 8 solar collectors on my patio roof that produce power, but I don't produce enough to sell back to the electric company. And it's got inverters that connect to the power line, to the power grid, but I don't produce enough to sell any back. And that's my intention, because this is a homemade solar setup. And if you're going to sell back to the grid, you have to have it professionally done. And that's when you spend the big bucks.
Yeah.
So I don't have much in mind, but it just supplements my electric bill.
I'd like to be able to put up enough to operate a small supplemental air conditioner in the summer, just
Yeah.
when the sun shines, you get a little bit extra cooling and take the edge off the bill.
Yeah.
I think your payback on that is a lot more reasonable.
Yeah. Another thing that would be reasonable would be a solar collector to run your hot water heater.
And that'd be a piece of cake.
Yeah. And, you're heating, if you have electric hot water heater, you're heating water 24/7 and not even using it part of the time.
Yep.
Well, I think I'm going to sneak away and see what kind of trouble I can get into.
All right, Ken. Good talking to you.
Pardon?
See you,
Good talking
Ken.
to you. See you next
See
time.
you, Ken. Don't forget to mute.
Yeah.
Hey, say again?
Don't forget to mute.
I've got it on a push to talk right now.
Good deal. See you later.
Okay, now I know he's at the fire station. I saw that number 6 toxic behind him. And I was going, what does he have that in his garage for? He wasn't in the garage. He's at the fire station.
Yeah. What made him think we wanted to see them ugly people?
Oh, I actually made it to winter field day on Sunday morning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's kind of a disappointment. They only had one station set up. They were looking for a CW operator, and I said, well, not exactly. I used to be, but I wouldn't call myself a contest CW operator. Okay, I can't copy that fast. It's been years since, actually since 1988 that I actually operated CW on the air.
Been a while for me too. I was looking back at my logbook. I made a lot of CW contacts on 10 meters, but it's been a long time ago.
If I ever find my logbook, is there a way to add a manual
Yes,
entry to logbook of the world like
yes,
that?
there is.
Okay.
But of course, you can just, are you using that amateur contact log?
No, I have qrz.com and I have logbook of the world.
Or you can enter them into logbook of the world, but it's kind of cumbersome. But if you entered into another logbook that you can upload to logbook of the world, you can do that.
Yeah, my qrz.com uploads automatically.
So you can add them into there and then upload them to logbook of the world.
If I can find the book.
Yeah. And
That'll be the problem.
then after you upload them, then you can download them, and then your logging program will show whether it's confirmed or not.
Oh, okay.
That's the point of the whole thing, is for them to be confirmed and for you to know it. And I look back at my logbook
Oh, well,
I
what if
used a
those-
different, I used a different log. I used a logging program called Logger 32 for years. And
Yeah.
whenever I don't know, the first 2 or 3 years, there was hardly anybody else that was uploading to Logbook of the World. So consequently, I've got hundreds of contacts back in 2002 and around in there that nobody confirmed them because they weren't using Logbook of the World.
yeah. So what if the operator that is in my logbook is not around anymore? How are they going to confirm that?
You can't unless if you have a QSL card that shows confirmation, you can have a card reader read those, and they will upload that to the Logbook of the World.
Okay,
But
That's
I've
probably
got
what-
thousands of cards
yeah.
that I could probably do that to, but I'm not going to do it.
You don't have that much time or just don't want to.
Don't have that much patience to go through all them. Well, used to a card reader, if you got 100 countries on a certain band and you take it to the ham fest and the card reader there would read it, and then you'd give him the money for the certificate, and he would turn all that stuff in to ARRL, and you'd get a certificate in the mail.
Did they have an automated way to do that?
Now it's automated, yeah. Logbook
I
of the
mean,
World.
how you said a card reader, was that a machine
Yep.
or a person?
A card reader. Yeah, it was a person,
Oh, a person manually doing it?
right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's the old days. Whenever you wanted an award, you had to send your QSL cards, basically bring them or send them to a card reader.
Right.
They would verify that you had cards for these calls and these dates, and then send that to the ARRL or whoever was keeping giving you the certificate.
So this Logbook of the World makes things a lot easier.
Yeah,
So a card reader was some kind of
It was
an
a ham.
official?
It was a ham that was a volunteer.
Oh, okay.
I never met one, Bill.
I met a lot of them. There used to be one that came to the Oklahoma City Ham Fest every year, and I'd take my cards up there and let him read them, verify them.
So long, fellows.
You cutting out on us?
I'm cutting out.
All right. See you next time.
All right, I'll read up on that. Let you know.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, Mike. Nacho says good night. What do you want? There's no bacon over there. No,
What does he want? Food,
that's what he's looking for. Handout.
food,
Handout.
treats, anything to eat. He's a dog.
Can't say treat around him. See them ears? Treat,
Mhm.
treat.
He knows that word. Well, when you're supposed to get your piece of tower, Bill?
If the trucking company is right on their schedule, it should come in tomorrow. But I've still got this problem with how to
Yeah.
adapt the hex beam to the mast. I don't know. I'll
I
figure
didn't-
something out.
I didn't quite understand that. The mast that fits the tower is too big for the hex beam.
No, it's actually, I had that piece of paper here somewhere. It's actually a little small on the ID. The way that hex beam works, it's got a stub, about a 16-inch stub that's 1 3/8 inches,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to drop down inside of your mast.
I got you.
So this new mast that he sent me is not that big inside. It's
Oh, I
small.
got you. The wall thickness on the new mast is thick enough that the mast sticking down on the antenna will not go inside of it.
That's right.
So you need some kind of a coupler or something.
Yeah, some kind of an adapter or something. I don't know. I've been
Yeah.
sketching on,
Hmm.
I haven't figured it out yet, but there's got to be some way to get there.
Yeah. A collar or something that's big enough to go over both of them and put a bolt through the collar and a bolt through the top.
Well, yeah, a collar that's big enough to go over the mast would be way too big for the hex beam, though. The hex
Yeah.
beam, the stub out of the hex beam is only 1 3/8 inches. And
Not very big. Can you
no.
make it? Can you put something over the stub? Another piece of pipe?
Well, I've been kicking that around as making some kind of cutting a piece of shim or something out of a piece of thin tubing that would go around the stub on the hex beam and adapt it to the inside of the mast. I might be able to do something like that. If not, it's going to get really complicated.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to buy some tubing and do some machining on it. I don't know. I thought everything was worked out when I bought the stuff. If the tubing in that antenna had been the size they said it was,
Yeah.
everything would have worked just perfect.
Yeah, because you have been using the other mast.
Right. I bought that mast specifically
Mm-hmm.
from DX Engineering that fits that hex beam and would have should have gone right down through that antenna, but it didn't.
What are the chances that old mast will fit the new top?
Slim and none, I think, because he essentially said it's really not 1 5/8 inches. That's just a number we put on there, a nominal number.
The ballpark. Can you believe that?
The tubing they buy is not that, the idea of the tubing they buy for that is not that precise on the
But
ID.
You would think that they would buy a precise piece that would fit a certain size mast so that you could tell your customer what size mast to buy in standard sizes.
Yeah, you'd think so. The way he explained that is he said, well, even if we had a precision tube, by the time we welded it in there, it wouldn't be in line with the tower. It would warp a little bit and be off so that when you stuck your precision mast down in my precision tube, it wouldn't be centered up in the rotator.
Tell him that I said for him to do a better job of welding it in there.
Well, the other thing they could do, and that it'd be
They
a
could
real
line bore that sucker.
right. After they could start out with a smaller tube,
Mm-hmm.
and when they finished, they could line bore it.
Yep.
I've actually thought about doing that. I've got a line boring bar that I can use, but I'm not sure it'll go down that small.
Yeah.
It's for line boring engine blocks.
Yeah.
And the bar itself is pretty hefty, but it might go down that, but I'd have to figure out some way to rig up the support. It has to bolt to whatever you're line boring.
Yeah.
And how I'd bolt it to that tower.
Yeah.
I kicked it around a little bit and then decided, there's got to be an easier way.
Yeah.
I've line bored a lot of engine blocks.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I did a lot of those. that was a pretty involved job. Really, you get to where you can set them up and do them pretty fast, but I could do a regular V8 engine block in about 2 hours from start
Wow.
to finish.
That's awful quick. That somebody you know, Mike?
No, I don't know if that was Davey or who that was. Yeah, I got him
Yeah, thumbs up.
from a little bitty picture. I got him. Davey, there he is. See you.
So what do you think happened to John? He used to be on here every week, and then all of a sudden
I don't know. The last time he was on here, he didn't stay very long. He kind of, I think his wife or kids or someone stuck their head in the door and he had to shut down and leave. I
Well,
hope
he
they're
never-
okay. I hope nobody's got sick or anything.
I texted him a while ago as we were about 15 minutes into this session and said, John, we're missing you on
Good.
Zoom, but I didn't get any text back. I don't think.
I think, and his wife a school teacher?
I think that's right, or a nurse. Which is it? I
I'm
think
not
she's
sure.
a teacher. I believe you're right.
I think so. Which, God, I'd hate to, I don't know how these parents with kids make it. You never know whether you're going to need a babysitter the next day or not.
Yeah. Well, I've never thought it was going to take this long to get everything set up, but
Yeah. Well,
now I've got waited long enough. Of course, I didn't start till fall.
yeah, that's right. That was,
Got the
haven't had a lot of good weather to work.
Yeah, the good weather didn't last long enough for me,
No,
or I didn't work fast enough.
well, you didn't have the material that you needed for a while. Get everything
Yeah.
gathered up.
Yeah, you think you're ordering everything, but that just doesn't happen. You're always missing something, and then when you get that, you find out it doesn't quite fit, and you need something different.
And this coronavirus has really slowed down the shipping on things. You order something and can't get it for a long time.
Yeah, well, there's some things that are out of stock on. I think the hex beam people are still having trouble getting the fiberglass tubing, because I noticed I was on DX Engineering's website the other day, and they're out of stock on the kits for the entire hex beam.
Yeah.
They've got parts, but they don't have they didn't say anything about having the fiberglass tubing or a complete kit anymore. They'll sell you pieces like the center hub and the center portion that has the feed line on it, and they'll sell you the wires for the elements, but I think they're out of fiberglass also.
Yeah.
The ham that sells them, that I never can remember his call sign, but he's pretty well known for making it. He has 6 meters on his also, which DX Engineering doesn't. And I talked to him on the phone because I was going to buy one of his. And he said, I don't have any tubing and I don't know when I'm going to get it. He said, the best thing I can do is I'll put your name on the list.
Yeah.
But I can't make any promises at all.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, and who knows why fiberglass tubing? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess
Whether it's a
maybe
raw material problem or the whoever fabricates it is
short on help and transportation a problem. And
you may need to jiggle your mic cable there.
don't tell me it quit again.
No, you're back. You're okay now.
Saying I didn't do anything.
It faded out not completely, but real low volume, but
I'm beginning to wonder if it's something else. I guess I need to get a different camera and test it. That'd be a way to maybe troubleshoot.
yeah.
I wonder if it's my internet slowing down or
Well,
something.
I don't think so because your video looks perfect.
Yeah, that's right. And video takes more bandwidth than
A
audio.
lot more than audio.
Yeah,
I mean, the audio just takes up a little sliver
yeah,
compared to the video, and your video looks perfect.
good. Well, I've been really working some DX, and not so good today, but past few days, I've worked some, even 10 meters has been open.
Great.
So, to Europe, I worked a few 10-meter stations in Europe. Of course, there's always 10-meter stuff in South America. I did work Bolivia today on, I don't remember which band, and he confirmed it, which is South America, but you don't see Bolivia on very often. Okay, it was on 12 meters. And and it's not confirmed. See, I can tell that quick by using these logging programs if they're confirmed or not. And I worked a couple of stations today. For instance, a Honduras.
Hey, there's John. Hey,
Honduras.
Ugh.
And Honduras is confirmed. Hello, John.
How you doing, guys?
All
we were
right.
just talking about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I got your text. I was on the phone.
Well, good to see you. Thought maybe you had abandoned us.
No, I had, man. I've been busy. I just crazy busy.
Well, I thought you were mad at us or something.
No. No, I got promoted at work, and so new role means new responsibility.
Yeah.
And it I don't know. It's a lot of people.
Oh, a lot of appraisals to write.
What's that?
A lot of appraisals to write.
Not appraisals, but just a lot of just meetings and people calling you and answer the questions and blah 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 blah. And then and so I put my daughters, my kids to bed here in a minute. I put the little one to bed, and I saw your text, and then somebody else called me about a question they had, and I was like, "Hey man, I gotta go."
Well, we're glad to see you back.
Yeah, it's good to see y'all. I'm glad you guys are doing good. Did you guys survive Snowmageddon, especially you, Bill?
Well, more or less. I didn't do anything for several days in there because it was out there where I'm entering have the hole in the house that I need to do some work. It's muddy back in there in the flower bed. And then I've been fighting problems with the upper section of the tower. I had to order a new upper section. And
really? Why?
Yeah. Oh, it's got a little dent in it where it may have been hit by a fork truck, but the dent was hardly big enough that you thought it would do anything. But when I put the mast down through that upper tube and then tried to align it with the rotator, it was way off to the side. So I called and had him send me a new upper section of mast. And the bad thing about it is, it was probably freight damage. I don't think it left the factory that way. But since it was signed for, I bought it. It's mine. So
Wow.
I had to buy a new upper section.
That's the pit.
Yeah, no, usually they should want you to send that back and then give you another one, you know?
Well, the distributor, the manufacturer, Universal Towers, I've talked to them a few times, with questions, but I didn't deal directly with them. I went through antennaparts.com,
Okay.
who's a distributor up in Illinois. And he's a really nice guy. It's a small company that he owns. And he said, when I told him what the problem was, he said, okay, I'll order you a new section and, you won't have, I'll pay for it. And then I got to thinking about it. I had somebody sign for it. So I don't think it's right to make him eat it. So I'm going to eat it and I'll pay him for it. And I just don't feel right having him have to eat it when it was not his fault at all. He didn't, there was no way he put the dent in it.
Right. No, I understand. Oh,
And I don't feel right making him take it out of his wallet and pay for it. So,
yeah. Well, that's very nice of you.
well, it's just, I don't know.
Do the right thing. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
You might be able to sell that one, your surplus one, to somebody, just tell them that it's not quite right and still not get.
How tall is it?
You might get half.
Well, I would feel a little nervous about that because I'm not sure what that ding pushed the tube in a little bit there. And
You just tell them the circumstances, and
What's the height on it?
so they know what they're.
well, the ding is up at the very top. It's where the tubes of the main tubes of the tower start to taper together to come in and are welded to that center sleeve.
Right, but how long is the section is what I'm asking.
Oh, 10 feet.
Yeah, you'll be able to get rid of that.
Well, yeah.
That tube that the mask goes down inside of, how much does it stick up above the top of the tower?
I'm going to guess, Ken, about 10 inches.
If you cut that thing off right at the top of the tower, that would alleviate the problem a little bit.
Yeah.
It would, but it still leaves me, I don't know. It would alleviate the alignment problem to some extent, but I still I'd still have the problem that the mast I've got that fits the beam won't go down through there, won't go down through that tube without, if I had a big long inch 625 reamer, I could run it down through there and ream it.
Yeah.
But it's
I'm
still
telling
not.
you, we're hams, man. I'm guarantee you somebody will find use for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd give it somebody if somebody had a use for it, but I'd feel I wouldn't sell it to them without clearly showing them.
Yeah. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
I don't want to,
So
I don't want anybody else to have a problem with it, like I've got.
You were in the final stages then, from what I understand, then.
Or you could just cut that top piece off.
Well, I could cut it off down to, where it's welded in.
Yeah.
But there's still another probably at least a foot of tubing below that.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, you could probably still use it.
Well, I have a new section that'll be here tomorrow. So
You know what I mean? Is you could put like a J-pole on it, put it in the ground.
You mean something like
and hook it to a 2-meter radio. I mean, there's all kinds of junk you could do with it.
Well, yeah, if one way somebody could use it if they wanted to put it on a roof mount.
Yeah.
have a 10-foot lightweight section to put on a roof mount,
Yeah.
it would be perfect for a roof mount because it doesn't weigh anything. I mean, it's like 15 or 20 pounds, so it wouldn't put any big load on the
I
roof.
picked it up. I was incredibly light.
Yeah.
It was wild
Yeah.
how light it was. So your hex beam's all done now then, right? Or
Well, I did as much as I could in the shop, measuring everything, cutting all the cords to length, getting all the clamps on and getting them positioned on the fiberglass tubes at the right position. And then I took them back out of the center hub and laid them to the side because there's no way with it in the center hub that I can get it out of the building. So, but I've done as much as I possibly can, and which is quite a bit actually. And now I'll have to take it out in the backyard and put it back on the stand and finish assembling it, putting it together.
Right.
Which, one nice day we'll finish that up, no problem.
right, but we're headed into spring, so
Well, hopefully I hope I get there before spring, but
I mean, it's been this long, so I mean,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
So, and I understand, you want to do it in nice weather, can't do anything outside. I don't even want the kids going out back because it's so muddy. They're just tearing the grass out of the yard, until it kind of dries and gets,
Well, if it's not too windy and too cold, I would be out there trying to put it together if I had an adapter that would, if I can get this mast thing squared away.
Right.
That's the next problem. But there's no point in assembling the beam and just letting it sit there and maybe blow away if I can't attach it to the
For the
tower.
Harry's net, guys.
Yeah, I don't mean to be short this week, guys, but I got to go do that, and then I got to go to bed.
Okay,
So,
bye.
Good seeing you all this
Bye.
week, and we'll talk to you next week. All right.
All right.
Yeah, well, good to see you,
later.
John.
All right. You guys have a good evening.
All
Well,
right.
guys, it's 8 o'clock. Are you guys ready to pack it in tonight?
It's 8 o'clock. Those guys go to bed early. Now they got meetings. And there's John.
How you doing?
Hi, John.
Had my antenna down 3 times today. It gets kind of unwieldy in the wind.
Well, at least you've got an antenna up to take down.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to put up than it is. Once it starts going down, it just doesn't want to stop.
So which antenna is this?
Oh, I just have one, but I replaced the cable. I got a lot better cable. I had an RG8 cable on it.
Mm-hmm.
I replaced that. And,
With what?
what is this here? I'll have to go look. I bought it at HRO online. It's a 240, I think. Let me go look.
Oh, LMR 240?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nothing wrong with RG8.
No, there isn't. There really isn't.
So is this a long wire antenna?
It's a 75 footer.
Yeah.
And I got a nano VNA.
Good.
And
Have you hooked it up?
yeah, I hooked it up to the 2-meter tram antenna, and it seemed like the 2-meter tram was the 2-meter part was trimmed a little low. And I took the antenna apart, and I don't know, I might have messed it up. I think I got it working better. At least it looks better on the VNA as far as the SWR. But yeah, that was a new adventure for me. It's got the coils inside of it. And I was able to change the tuning by just compressing or expanding the coils.
Mhm.
And then finally got it to where the 2 meter part was in the low 140s, and I've got it up around between 144 and 148 in that area. And then the 70 centimeter, it was off too. And I was able, there's a coil about halfway up, and I just assumed that was the 440 range, and it was. And I was able to jimmy around with the coil on that, do some experimenting, push it one way and then push it the other until I got it just where I wanted it. I was afraid I was going to break that coil. I guess it's sweated onto the rod in there. I was afraid I was going to break it off, but
Yeah,
it seems to be working better now.
good. Yeah, so you got new coax and you got it tuned up a little better.
Right. And I got a 6 meter dipole antenna on eBay for, I think, $30, and which is cheaper and I can make one. And I put that up today too.
Good. How high in air?
It's about 11 or 12 feet, the dipole. And
Have you got a 6 meter rig? We might try to make a contact.
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah, I wasn't getting anything on it, and I'm not getting much on this either. I think my antenna location must be bad.
Well, there's not much on 6 meters.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Especially,
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah. 6 meters opens up in the summertime pretty good, but not much in the wintertime. But I've got a 5-element Yagi up about 55 feet on 6 meters that I can point at you.
Oh yeah, we could try it out that way.
Are you set up to do digital mode?
Yeah, I actually just loaded the FT8 software on my computer the other day. I kind of got it working. I was getting the scan from my 991, but I just was a little unclear how to use it. I need to go back and do a tutorial on the software, but it's all up and working. The software is.
Are you copying anybody?
Not yet. I hadn't tried anything yet, so I didn't know if there'd be anything in the 10 meter range on FT8.
Well, 10 meters was open today and past few days, but you can operate other bands besides 10 meters.
Oh, on FT8?
Sure.
Okay.
20 meters is going like gangbusters. 20.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't think I could get on that. I'll try that.
No,
tomorrow.
you can't. You can't transmit, but you can receive.
Right.
You can transmit on 10 and 6 and 2 and anything above that.
Right.
Well, yeah,
I was noodling around on.
Go ahead.
I was noodling around on 2 meters tonight, and before I got on here, and it seemed like there was some FT8 on 2 meter.
Yeah, I've worked a few on 2. Yeah.
So I'm moving right along.
Most of the most of the digital modes, sideband, the digital modes, all that are horizontally polarized antennas on 2 meters. So if you're using a vertical, you're not doing too good on 2 meters for digital mode.
I see.
But the 2 meter repeaters are vertically polarized. So
yeah, I've got that tram 2 meter and 440 antenna on the very top, and then right below that I've got just a actually it's a cutting board with some U-bolts in it that I've put. I kind of attached the other 2 things that the dipoles that I have.
About to lose my voice here.
Well, I contacted, I think Larry told me about it last week. I contacted that antenna place, and ordered that antenna they have. It's a in-fed antenna. And it's a 8-band antenna, so they say.
Which Larry?
Is it Larry? One of the guys here. He might not be here. The guy that with the that does the Morse code. He's always got a background that's a
With a
Oh,
key.
key. Yeah,
Yeah, that's Sam.
Sam. Okay. Yeah, I don't see him up here right now.
He was on earlier. He's at the fire station tonight.
I should have gone over there and got my cup. They've got my cup over there. So, left my coffee cup there.
Quite a few people at the fire station. Here's the other Larry. How you doing, Larry?
Doing good, yourself? Did I come through?
Say again?
Did I come through?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your audio's not real clean. Looks like we got a butt shot at the fire station.
Yeah. Whoever that is probably doesn't have any idea they're on
No.
television.
Yeah.
On Zoom, rather.
Well, I'm gonna take a quick look at my log and I'll tell you what 10 meters. Okay. Oh, I worked Spain on 10 meters and Germany and Ecuador today and yesterday. Some of those were today and some yesterday.
Was that all digital?
Yeah. 65 watts is what I run on digital. That was all on 10 meters. So 10's opening a little bit. You just have to get on there and listen in the daytime. Once you get your digital stuff set up, just start it and let it run. Then you can come back and look on the screen and see who you copied. Well, Bill, you could have had a 40-meter dipole up and been operating
Yeah, I
on that.
know.
Could have had a 40-meter inverted V up on that 30-foot section of tower.
I could have had a 20-meter dipole up. John volunteered several different times to come over and sheet it up in a tree. And
Yeah.
once I got the hole drilled in the wall, it would have been pretty easy to do. But I kept thinking, well, I'm almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd run into another problem.
Yeah.
Such is life, right?
Yep. You get it.
But I've enjoyed the Zoom sessions anyway.
Yeah, me too. I don't go to the fire station because of the COVID stuff.
Yeah, that's me either. It's making me a little nervous. I don't see anybody in a mask down there.
No, I know one of them down there is not vaccinated because he told me.
Yeah, it just makes me a little nervous.
Tell me he
I've
didn't.
already had it once. I don't want it again.
Yeah. I don't, well, I don't want to get into the COVID thing again, but
No.
we got
Probably
pretty hot
better
and
not
heavy
to.
into that. Terrible.
I think,
I'd rather talk ham radio than that.
yeah, exactly.
I was thinking of getting my 4th vaccination recently.
I will eventually, but you have to wait so long after that 3rd one before you can get another one. I did get in the mail 4 test kits, so I signed up for that when they first came out, and I received them. But there's 2 tests in each box, but you have to. So there's actually only 2 tests there because you test and then you have to wait a few days and test again. So that's only 1 test. I mean, use 2 of your test things. I think you can get 4 of those per home a month.
A month, each month?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So next month I'll get 4 more. And otherwise, if you go to the drugstore, you have to buy them.
Yeah, and they're not real cheap.
I don't know how much they are, but
They were about $25 a pop, roughly.
was there 2 in a box?
Yeah. Yeah,
So I guess that's what these are.
that's the way I found out that I had Delta after I'd been vaccinated. I used the
So that test tells you if it's Delta or not?
no, but that's
Oh.
what was
Okay.
that was what was going around. Delta
Okay.
that was before Omicron.
Yeah,
Delta was so let me rephrase that. I assume it was Delta because that was
yeah.
the prevailing,
Yeah, that was a predominant
right.
thing at the time.
But we got two kits. My wife, because I assume my wife might catch it from me, but she didn't.
Yeah, that was lucky.
But both of mine were very positive. I mean, it turned the strip red almost immediately. Anyway,
But she had her shots too, hadn't she?
yeah, we both got our shots at the same time,
Yeah.
and I think her immune system is probably better than mine. Ken, have you ever, or anybody else that's on, everybody known anybody that's built themselves an amplifier?
I've built amplifiers before.
Yeah, I know you built a bunch of HF amplifiers. I mean, UHF amps, right?
For a very low frequency, medium frequency. And I've built 80 meter amps before. A long time ago, I built some tube amps.
Big amps like KW amps or?
No, I never did build any that big, 200 or 300 watts amps.
I've been, when I didn't have anything better to do, I've been picking around on YouTube looking at people that are building, 1,000 and 1,200 and 1,500 watt amplifiers.
Yeah, tube amps, I guess.
No, they're solid state.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost everybody's building solid state now because you don't have to tune the dang things. You just, you kick it on and select. You either have to turn a knob and select the band, or you can hook it directly to your transceiver and it'll, if you have the right board in it, and it'll select the band for you automatically.
Yeah.
But, well, they've got some, I had no idea until I started looking how much power that some of those transistors will
Yeah.
take now.
They have this LD MOS. I had a M squared makes a solid state 2-meter amplifier. It's a 1.2 kW. And that's what I used for a 2-meter moon bounce. And it had one big old LD MOS chip in there that run, and I put 10 watts into it and could get 1200 out.
Wow.
The solid state. That's what I used on 2 meters. I run it about 900 watts. I never did run it full blast, but
Did you get rid of it or?
yeah, I sold it a long time ago. A couple of years ago, whenever I quit doing 2-meter moon bounce. But 10 watts in, and I run it 10 in and 900 watts out into 20 dB antenna, 20 dB gain antenna.
Yeah. Most of those amps that I've been looking at, that people are building, the gain is just fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to put attenuators on most of them on their radios.
Well, this amplifier had an attenuator on the front end, and I had the company take it out so I could drive it with 10 watts because I was using a transverter that it was a 25-watt transverter, but I didn't want to run it full power. I wanted it to be idling along, so I had them change that input attenuator so I could drive it to full power with 10 watts. So that way my K3, the Elecraft K3 was driving the transverter and it was driving the big amp. And man, I was just, nothing was heating up at 900 watts, and on all those digital modes, the key down on that thing was 2 minutes or a minute for JT65. So you're keyed down for a minute, that's like CW key down. And that'd be like 1800 watts of sideband as far as heat producing on the final amplifier.
Yeah, it must have some really good heat sinks in it.
Yeah.
Some of the guys, or one guy anyway, a German guy that has some pretty good videos on there about how he built his, used a water cooling system.
Mm-hmm.
The copper plate that goes under the transistor, the power transistor.
Yeah.
He milled channels in it and then made another plate, matching plate,
Mm-hmm.
with channels,
together.
soldered them together.
Forced water through there. Yeah.
Yep.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Well, several of those hams, I worked on 70 centimeter moon bounce are running tube amplifiers that's water cooled. They got a water jacket in there.
Really?
Yeah. They're running that big Russian tube. It's called a G35. And they can just stay keyed down forever, running 1,000 watts or more. I used to work this guy in Estonia on 2-meter moon bounce. He didn't mind telling you he's running 3 kW.
I don't know. Do they care in Russia?
I don't think they care. Or, we're not supposed to run that much power, but
Yeah.
that was on 2 meters.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah. When you get up, even up to 1,000 watts, you start to have coax connector problems and coax cable problems. You find all of your weak spots when you go up to high power.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you have you have connectors or coax or anything that has any weak spots in it, it's gonna arc right through.
Yep. But you don't need high power for digital mode stuff. That's one nice thing. That's what's helped a lot of people, because they don't have to have a big amplifier. You don't have to have a big Yagi beam 100 feet in the air. You can do it with low power and a decent wire antenna or a homemade antenna. Or a 2-element Yagi gives you a little bit of an advantage. It'd be nice to be able to switch bands from 80 through 10, I guess, isn't it? Your antenna's 80 through 10, Bill?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Your antenna's 80 through 10?
No. 10 through 20.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a tri-band. Oh,
Well-
it's got the work bands on it too, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So that's a big advantage.
yeah, it covers everything from
Mhm.
all the bands from 10 to 20.
Yeah. 30 meters is digital only. So you can't do voice on that. CW or digital mode.
And they have specific channels on 30 meters, is that correct?
No, that's 60 meters. It's got that.
Oh, okay,
So you don't have to worry about that.
okay. I guess I read that they sold a slice of some UHF band to the cell phone people. FCC did. Sold a slice of ham band here recently.
That should be against the law.
Yeah,
Do you happen
Many.
to remember what it is? Do you happen to remember which it is?
It was one of the UHF bands, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of the UHF bands. They sold about, I think, about 25% of it, upper 25% to cell phone people.
Because I've been battling that with the work that I do. I had to buy all new wireless equipment because they kicked us out of the 600 range. Fortunately, they're coming out with some very wideband equipment now. We'll do a search on that. Well, that was in the gigahertz range, wasn't it?
Yep. It was.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I see it here, part of the C band. Yeah, I got my Part 94 license 2 years ago. So I can use part of the 600 spectrums. They have a gap in there for the cell phone in the 600s, and I can go use that, and it's pretty quiet. I like that a lot.
Use it for what?
Wireless microphones. I do audio work for TV and movies, and constantly battling with frequency issues. But they show up in all the sets, all the cameras and all this equipment is starting to show up, and it's all in the 2 gigahertz range. But somehow they're, I guess, with bad cables and leaky equipment, they're just raising the noise floor so high you can't hardly use the 500s. So I got a directional antenna, and that helped a lot.
I'm gonna have to get out of here, guys.
Yeah, I think I am too, Ken.
Good talking to everybody.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hope to see you next week.
Well, take care.
Take care, King. 1.8.
Gonna sign you off, Larry.
Okay,
Have a good evening.
you too.